So for today's problem, we'll be finding the sine of 13 pi over 12, in which we will be using the sum of and differences of the trigonometry formulas in order to solve it. So the first thing we would have to do is that we would have to break what's inside of the parentheses into two separate numbers to make sure things are easier for ourselves. So this sine of 13 pi over 12 becomes a sine of 3 pi 12 plus 10 pi 12. And then from there we can simplify it even further, in which we have the sine of pi over 4 plus 5 pi over 6. And then if we recall from the video, we remember that one of the formulas that we actually memorized, or not memorized, but know, is the formula in which the sine of a plus b is equal to sine a times the cosine b plus cosine a times sine b. Using this formula, we can use it to apply it to the same problem over here. So in which the next step would have to be using this one as a and b. So if we rewrite it, it would actually look like sine of pi over 4 times the cosine of 5 pi over 6 plus the cosine of pi over 4 times the sine of 5 pi over 6. And then from this step, we remember that in our unit circle, we also learned what each part of this actually means. So for this one, sine of pi over 4, that one is equal to the square root of 2 over 2 times, we bring this down, the cosine of 5 pi over 6 is equal to negative square root 3 over 2. Bring down the plus sign, and then the cosine of pi over 4 is equal to the square root of 2 over 2. And then we multiply it with the sine of 5 pi over 6, in which that one is 1/2. And then we solve this part first, and then this part, and then we add them together. So for the first part over here, we have the square root of 2 times the negative square root of 3, in which that one would be negative square root of 6, all over and multiply across 4. And then we add on to the other side over here, in which the square root of 2 times 1 equals square root of 2, over, it's going to multiply across, which is equal to 4. And since these two are different terms, we can't really combine them, but we can combine these since they have the same denominator. So the last part of the problem would be having to add these two together, in which the negative square root of 6 plus the square root of 2 over 4 is our answer, since we can't add it any further.